Just playing away to London Irish.
I'm just streaming the Line Break podcast.
That would be a massacre. Wait, what?
I just decided, you know what, we're gonna stream.
All right.
Yeah.
Is it playing the intro music then?
It is. I'm gonna turn down the intro music to a
Should you
reasonable...
turn us down and turn that up?
I'm just having it in the background, I think, just as a... Boop, 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 boop.
Did you get the music from?
Oh, it's just a royalty-free site.
All right. That's okay.
Yeah.
I have to have our own thing composed though when we become rich and famous.
Yes, when we become rich and famous. So this is a rugby podcast. And we were expecting more people to be in here. Oh, yeah. So Adam's just brought up the Manu Tuilagi thing in the chat.
What? I wouldn't know. Oh, finally,
The Worcester Warriors. Oh, yes, Slack's not.
And I'm
working
offline
very well.
again. Jesus.
So Manu Tuilagi has been in talks apparently with Worcester Warriors, which would be an
We're
awesome
actually
buy.
in talks.
Well, it would just be an awesome buy. I don't know. This is this a self post? So there's no
Where
source.
did you get this? How the?
Oh no, there's not a source post. It's in the Worcester News. Oh, what a reliable source of information. Oh my god, what the hell is their website? As soon as you click on it, it's just a massive blurry picture of Manu Tuilagi. That is the worst. Oh, I can't believe that we're actually going to be we're streaming this.
Well, you can always turn it off. Either that, we can just work something out to chat about.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how Exeter are going to lose to Harlequins this weekend.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to it. I think we can put a really
be a
good
good game.
beating on. I mean, we've got a record for beating Harlequins at the Stoop. In fact,
Do you?
we've got a record of beating Harlequins full stop.
Oh, I might start going off you then. I will say we should be fairly rested because our last game was on Thursday, so we've got an 8 or 9 day turnaround.
Okay. Yeah, you actually, is it a Saturday game?
Yeah,
Yeah. You will have had the lengthy rest, won't you? Which is
and yeah,
That's
more than
good.
that, we were playing some not second-rate players, but we had some questionable selection choices when we played Cardiff Blues, and I was quite nervous, especially in the first half hour of that match, that we'd gone in undercooked and underprepared because we'd left certain big names at home.
I think it's time for Harlequin. I think it's time for a lot of teams to actually just start shedding some of those names.
We've got to do what you do. We do what Exeter do.
Just make a team.
Yeah, rotate around the exact same 23 players and just
Yeah,
have some contingencies for injuries.
you find your squad, and that's your rotation. And once you've got that 23 core squad, then you're just constantly rotating within those players. It doesn't matter who starts. The team should be strong enough to play the game.
Yeah.
I think quite a lot of teams are really, really reliant on having 15 really good players and then like some academy boys on the bench, but I just don't think that works. You need to have a team of 23 that doesn't matter who's on the pitch, you're going to get the same
I
response
quite like
from
the
everyone.
idea of bringing some academy players through in not nothing games, but games that.
Oh no, you play them in the LV Cup, and you play them
Oh,
in
yeah, what about the LV Cup? Is that still a thing?
I
thought the
don't,
LV
I don't
Cup
know.
finished.
Do we need Harble or someone who actually takes notice of things like this? Let's have a look. LV Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought the LV Cup got canned at the end of last season.
Anglo-Welsh
Hang on.
Cup. Uh-huh. No, it says to present. There will be no Anglo-Welsh Cup in this season due to the late start of the English Premiership. So they're not going to do one
you-
this year because of the World Cup, essentially.
That makes sense.
So might be the year that the academy players kind of...
Yeah, over.
Yeah. But still. I'm trying to see who won it last year.
I want to go with maybe Bath.
I think it was Exeter. No, Saracens won it.
Oh, did they? Oh,
Sarries beat us in Northampton, yeah. 23-20.
they beat you in Northampton.
Yeah, at Franklin's Gardens.
Oh, right.
But we won it in 2013, the 2014 season. We beat Saints at Sandy Park. It's weird. We got to play at home. I wonder why that was.
Well, if Sarri's played,
That's a bit strange, isn't it?
I don't know.
Worcester and Northampton seem to have been picked as the pitches in the previous years, but then randomly, just in the 2014 season, they were just like, "Yeah, we'll play it at Sandy Park and let Exeter have a home game."
What's the capacity like there?
Well, the attendance was 10k. I thought max is 15, but I could be wrong. I think the max is 15. It might be less. Sandy Park. Let's have a little look.
Oh, just reading this on the sub. South African Rugby Union may effectively tread water in 2016 by giving Heineken Meyer a further calendar year in charge.
Oh, really?
And
Capacity is 12,500. Anyway, so Heineken Meyer might keep rocking on.
And I read they've lost ABSA and BMW, ABSA and BMW as their sponsors.
Yeah, because they're fed up of... I mean, I don't want to go too ham because I don't really understand the political implications, but they're all just... It's too slow. Everything is progressing too slowly. It doesn't... The team doesn't actually represent the population of South Africa, and that's what people are just getting annoyed at. And so I think there's a big thing in South Africa, which is they don't want to represent them, and they don't want to have their names on the shirt, which is a shame. Because I don't think it's the players' fault. I just think the whole system might be a little bit wrong. But I'm not sure. I think only the players are suffering at the moment. But, whatever. That's something that we can't really talk about too.
No, we need to get... That's why Super Cross Prawn is a Safa, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
We should try and get him on at some point.
Oh no, that's the outro music. We can't use the outro music. Yeah, he is a Safa. We could have him on. Yeah, I don't mind having anyone on. Yeah, I think there's quite a few people that we need to... I think first and foremost we need to try and diversify and get some really small nations on. For example, the Japanese poster that we're talking to, I hope she comes on. That would be nice.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I've decided that we're going to play with a backing track.
What, the entire thing?
Yeah, it's just going to have a backing track. We're going to see how that plays out and see if it's nice. Oh, sorry about that.
Any chance of convincing any of the others to show up while we're meandering?
Well, yeah, we are live. If you want to send some message out, I'm going to have a little talk about some things. What am I going to talk about? Oh, England fans, who do you want to see in the coaching setup as captain or in the squad?
You've just read that as a...
Yeah, I've just read that as on the sub. It's not a question particularly that we've been given, but I'm going to answer it anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a question that I'm always more than keen to answer and probably get wrong and always slightly change
always get
what I've answered.
You can't get something like that wrong. So someone at the bottom... I've heard this a lot.
Jesus,
and I can't see Baxter giving up the Exeter job to be an assistant coach in the RFU setup. Yeah. So, although he's like, it's a great idea to have Baxter in the setup, but it's either Baxter's way or nothing. I don't think he can play a second fiddle to Eddie Jones, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, it's... hang on, where is it?
It's just at the bottom. I went right to the bottom because I don't want any of these pandering answers at the top, such as JP65. Gah. I'm joking, but still. Captain-wise...
No, I mean, I think he's got a...
Oh, we can add Adam into the call. Great idea.
No, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, because it's under Eddie Jones's remit, his new position to groom the coach for 2019 onwards. So, assuming he does stick it out for 4 years and then we've got a new coach for the next 4 years, I mean, if we can have some level of consistency, would Baxter not want the England job, or would Brian Henry next? I can't talk on behalf of Baxter, 2021 or no, that's not right.
He has stated. Did you see the video that I posted on the site?
I saw you posted it. I didn't click on it.
Okay, well, he basically said that he wasn't available, but, you know, you got the idea that he would be honoured to have been asked, I think is the point.
Fair enough. I've got to say, this user, Edward J. Barrett, has done an incredibly comprehensive list of who should play for the international team and who should be playing for the Saxons.
I'm having a look at that, and
some of it I agree with, some of it I don't.
Some I'm disagreeing with, so I don't think...
I need to ask your opinion, because I know I've kind of made a point of posting it every time one of these things comes up, just after, particularly his performance against Uruguay, and I know that's not the best measure by which to go by for a player, but Henry Slade, is he more of a 10 or more of an inside or more of an outside centre?
He's a backline.
He's the whole back line. So it's because I just think
go on.
It would be everyone's going on that, you know, we need him in the centre and either at 13 or preferably as far as I've seen at 12 inside someone like JJ or Tuilagi and have Ford at 10. But I just think having Slade with his vision and his distribution just seems that bit better, and I think if he could then run the back line from the 10 position,
I do agree that I mean, we always end up talking about Slade on these sorts of things, but he is a player that I think with good distributors outside him he can. I think every 10 nowadays needs that second distributor, or the centres have to be good distributors as well. I think the New Zealand team have great distributors. That I think the French have it completely wrong because Bastareaud and Fofana, they're not distributors. They're very good centres of the old school kind.
Team, I think.
But you need to be a runner and a distributor, and I think the French national side's suffering as a result.
Well, I think they're suffering from a multitude of reasons.
Well, yeah, but the back line in particular are just slightly impotent. It's one-dimensional from Bastareaud, and it's Fofana, although he's absolutely magic, he doesn't have that threat where, say, Conrad Smith or someone that they can create magic. He makes magic by his steps and his speed, but he doesn't actually create it that often. I don't know how to describe it, but he's a very good player. He's one of the best centres out there, but he's not a distributor particularly. But Bastareaud again is just one-dimensional. So
yeah,
I'm just having a look at the centres. I don't. I'm still not 100% on Burrell, but he just because he hasn't actually refound his form since losing.
On who? Sorry.
On Burrell.
Yeah, I need to watch Northampton play this weekend before I can.
Because I think Daly should be rightfully in there. I think Joseph has proven himself. I think the problem is that Burrell is just not quite. I mean, I understand why he was dropped. Put it that way.
Yeah, we need Tuilagi to be fit. I think. I reckon. Here's the thing. After what I'm not. It's. Everyone gives a lot of huff about, you know, whether Hartley should ever be in the team again because of certain on-field indiscretions rather.
Yeah.
I'm really curious because I can remember there was a thing that came out around the World Cup with regards to Tuilagi and the altercation he got in with the taxi, and whether or not he pled guilty just so that he could get a lesser charge and that it wasn't quite reported, and so.
But I think the problem I have with, although he might have not have been as crazy perhaps as it came across.
If he did commit something that, you know, is quite severe, you've got to wonder that there are so many people calling for Hartley to never be in the team again because of certain indiscretions on the pitch. But if you're, you know, causing certain indiscretions off the pitch in a slightly more serious manner.
Well, I think it's a similar problem that Cipriani's having.
With the driving
thing. Drink driving. I really can't understand. He's 28 now, so 4 years time for a fly half. You're 32. I just
Dan
can't
Carter
see.
did it, but Dan Carter's magical.
But Dan Carter's Dan Carter. Cipriani's game is speed. That is his game. Carter had speed, strength. He had the whole thing. and I do worry. I think Cipriani's international career might be over. And I don't think it's something that you should say lightly, because that's incredible to say that such a bright talent. I remember when he went off to Western Force and everyone was saying, oh, he'll just spend a year or two there and then he'll come back and he'll be the next best thing again.
All I can remember of Danny Cipriani from the past, as it were, is a game against South Africa where he went for, I don't know whether it was a box kick or a clearing kick, but rather than getting charged down, he just laid the ball right into the hands of one of their outside backs, which led to a try.
Yeah.
And it's just about the only memory I have of him before, I suppose, he even came back to England.
I have some...
Because I never saw any of his game time there except a few highlights.
Yeah, I have some good memories of his highlights at the Force, and he showed a lot of speed, and I think he pulled a hamstring when he scored a try, and he showed quite a lot of good speed. But that's the problem. Cipriani's speed is what sells him, and if he's 32 going into a World Cup, yeah, and doesn't have that, I've been playing for England since I was 23, 24. He doesn't have the number of caps to his name that perhaps someone at the age of 28 should have. And I think it's partially his attitude in his early career that stopped that.
Yeah.
That's a shame. It's a shame. But I think someone else is going to have to step up and take the role. I do like Rocker Daguni though as a winger.
I think
he'll come back right in.
Deserves another shot, because he played. I think it was against New Zealand or Samoa. He played in the AIs last year before pulling a hamstring or something. I thought it was a shame he didn't get another shot.
Sorry, I'm looking at Fly Half of the Saxons. It's got Billy 12 Trees.
That's a horrendous idea.
That's just why? Don't play him in the Saxons. I know you want someone with a bit of experience, but just Freddie Burns is fine.
Is he?
It's fine. Play him at the Saxons. He needs somewhere that he can just relax and play some spark game. And also, Sam Hill and Freddie Burns, I think, on the same team would be very useful, because every time Freddie Burns does something stupid, he can just pop the ball to Sam Hill and he'll take a crash and he'll sort it all out. Because Sam Hill doesn't go backwards really in contact.
Promote him to the full team then.
Oh, I think Sam Hill will be fighting Burrell for a spot.
I've got to say, I would switch out from his. Where has he put?
It's not because I think Burrell's possibly a better carrier, but Sam Hill's just a better all-round 12, and I think that distribution thing that I was talking about earlier, he's got a better distribution.
I think above all, we just need to be really careful with who we pick our centre, because with the exception of JJ and Manu, just about every centre we've picked, or really I'm picking really on 12 Trees and Burrell here, is that they had a blinding debut season and then completely went off the boil. Eastman's we've not really given a shot at.
Eastman's still good. I think the problem is Joseph could be possibly in a little dip right now.
Yeah.
Not particularly, because I think he took a little bit of a knock.
I think if you say that, I say he would have been in a dip since the warm-ups pre-World Cup, just going by, or at least he was getting marked a lot more than he was in the Six Nations, which perhaps have led to... It became a predictable, I suppose, for the other teams to know what was going to happen when he got the ball. So he got snuffed out a fair bit. Perhaps that's led to either a knock in confidence or him trying something else.
I think you're right there. He's not been quite himself. I think that's safe to say. Oops. I'm just trying to find an interesting picture that we can put on screen. Oh, there's one.
I'd say I'm not a fan of. He's got same comment. He's got Dave Atwood in with the locks for the first team, and I'm not convinced by Atwood at all, and haven't been remotely since in the time that he's played in an England shirt.
I'm not against him.
He's had a couple. He's had games, I feel, but I mean, by and large, all that's really stood out to me is a fair few knock-ons and penalties.
I think to
And
me, Parling is a better player.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
yeah, but he doesn't even have Parling for either the Test team or the Saxons.
Maybe he's just forgotten
still,
about him.
yeah.
He moved to a
I
nothing
mean, I know
club.
he's old.
He moved to a nothing club, didn't he?
Which nothing club?
Exeter.
Oh, right. Well, as long as it's fine. Is he playing well with Exeter?
I don't know if he's actually played
Okay.
yet. Actually, now that you've said that, I should know that, shouldn't I? Really, I've been following every game. I know that Campagnaro was on the bench.
You got him as well.
Yeah, I know he was on the bench for one of the games. I don't know if he came off the bench. I don't know if he's played him. Like I said, because we set up our squad of 23.
Yeah.
Even what's his name got dropped? Waldrum. He went out of rotation. He went out of rotation for a little bit. Just
wait, why? Wasn't he
European
like the top
Cup.
prize scorer last year?
He's just out of form. And we play form. We don't play names, which is interesting, I suppose.
Something England should have been doing the last 6 months.
Yeah, very. Yeah.
But that's
Yeah. Let's have a look at Exeter.
I do think one thing we should perhaps. I'm sure I say it every time before we continue talking about the same topic. We should probably move away from England for a bit, even though, or at least this side of England, because it has been very England-centric for the last couple of weeks, and I suppose.
What else have we got to talk about?
Oh, I don't know. We could talk about.
Find something on the sub and we'll have a chat about it. Yeah, look. Parling wasn't in the squad.
Actually, I can't talk much. Jonah Lomu passed away, but I can't talk much about him because I don't think I ever saw him play, or not that I recall. And so, beyond a few highlights, and I've never really gone out of my way to watch a full game he's been in. So,
is Parling injured?
I don't know. You should know this. What about then? What else? Eddie Jones is now the coach, which is, I think, exciting, and lots of other people are saying we should try and weather our expectations, which I suppose is fair.
Oh, sorry, I've just read it. Yeah, he's injured.
That's no good.
He was on his debut, 4 minutes off his debut, and he got injured.
Shit.
That's why I've heard nothing of it, because I blocked it out of my mind. He was only on the pitch for 4 minutes.
Was he starting or a replacement?
Second half replacement against London Irish.
And London Irish broken. What a bunch of bastards.
They reckon he's out for a month. And this was in October, the end of October, so he could be coming back in December, midway through December.
Well, I kind of see your point. I suppose we could talk about I could put up the highlights of the Argentina Barbarians game. We could have a chat about some of that, because that was.
I'm having a look. US Professional Rugby Union League to launch next year as nation embraces the fastest growing team sport. Should we see some of the comments on that?
That's right.
Because marketing.
This is really turning into the rugby union subreddit, an interactive discussion. That's pretty cool.
It's quite interesting. If you keep telling people you're the fastest growing sport like the UFC has done for years, eventually you will be. And I suppose that's what rugby union is doing. So someone else pointed out it's rugby union league. That is a confusing mixture. Only 5 non-US players per team.
That's pretty good. Oh, that's okay. That's something I wanted to bring up, which I suppose has something in relation to England again, which I should have tried to avoid. There's all that talk about not wanting to have English players playing in France playing for the England team, because then you risk players from the domestic teams having a mass exodus and chasing a rather large paycheck, rather than because they can get both. Rather than one or the other.
America could become the new France, and I could see that being a lot like the MLS has become.
But I mean, what do you suppose? It's one thing something I started thinking about, which I didn't develop too much of a train of thought on, just kind of came into my head and I decided to run with it. Do you suppose it hurts a country's ability at test level more by having more foreign players in their domestic league, or having more of their own players in foreign leagues?
If we look at Argentina being a case study, I think that the national setup has to be of the right mindset, and the players need to be playing at a consistently high level of competition. So, if we look at Argentina and we go, most of their players are playing in France or England, or they're playing in the Northern Hemisphere, quite a lot of them, at a high standard, and the national setup was positive in its outset, and it decided to mirror the best team in the world being New Zealand. I think it does help to have your players playing in foreign leagues as long as they are playing at a high level. And I think that's a problem.
But, I mean, that's going to. I mean, next season, Super Rugby, it's going to be the Argentinian players are mostly going to not be playing in Europe.
Yeah, they're all going to
move. Not going to be playing in Argentina. So it's. But I'm just curious. I mean.
So maybe they'll grow as a team, perhaps, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that affects their dynamic. I think it would help, probably, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Because the dynamic at the moment is really good, because they seem to just come together as a team, bringing lots of different variations of style, but all in a positive way.
Well. It's. I mean, they had. Is it Cordero, who's only 21?
Yeah.
The back. Their back three are protected. They're chasing a position, wanting to be the best in the world, and I reckon they will be. They could be soon, because certainly how well they played in the World Cup, and how well they played against the Barbarians on Saturday, I think it was. They're exceptionally talented, and they're getting better, and they are always exciting to watch. And so, considering I mean, I know Imhoff. I think it's Imhoff who will be staying in France. So I don't know how likely it is he will be selected for Argentina. I hope he still is once they have their own Super Rugby franchise.
I think he will. I think he will. But he's a very good player.
Yeah, but their backs in general, I think. Well, I suppose their whole team. They've come in. I mean,
I think they're going to be in trouble when they lose Aertza. Well, they've lost him actually. Is he retired?
I'm sure. I'm sure in one of the games in the World Cup, he was giving up a lot of penalties, if I remember correctly. Perhaps it was either the semi-final or the bronze final. It was Aertza who was consistently getting pinged by the ref. Though in fairness, if it was the bronze final, the ref was lazy and he's shit, so you can probably write that off.
Wait, did Argentina play Leicester? What am I reading here?
I don't know. What are you? I mean,
Argentina played Leicester and Aertza played.
Played for who? Did he switch jerseys halfway around?
No, he played Argentina. It was his testimonial. What the hell? So he's retired.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
He must have retired. He can't have retired the game completely, has he?
He was a Tiger, though, wasn't he? I'm not getting that wrong.
Yeah, he's a Leicester Tiger. Yeah. Is he retired completely?
Well,
no, he's still playing for Leicester, I think.
Look up a Tigers team sheet.
Yeah, he's still playing. It says he's still playing both. He is completing a degree in business studies. Good for him.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard that's something interesting.
Can't you do that and carry on playing for Argentina?
So I know it's football, but apparently Fellaini, who is I don't know who he plays for now, Man United maybe? I don't know, I don't really follow it closely. Anyway, he has an economics degree and is worth nearly he's worth millions anyway because he invested in some bio products. So I don't know, it's always weird when sportsmen have these alter lives. They use their money and actually do something else with it. I haven't. And that brings us back to England investing badly in oil.
Christ.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
Let's go back to rugby taking off in the States, because...
Yeah, go on, that's a much safer subject.
I'm sure we went through teams a week or two ago of places where they'd likely play.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that, but I'm looking at the thing, and they're saying there's only going to be 6 teams.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I mean, there are currently 4 or 5 teams, so it's, I mean... let's read the link.
16?
The Daily Mail. You're going to make me read the Daily Mail.
Yeah, no, that's why I haven't clicked on it yet.
League will feature 6 city-based teams before Canadian sides join in 2017. Venues and coaches will be announced for league shortly. Each team will be allowed no more than 5 non-North American players. North American's first ever professional rugby union league. That's going to get confusing for some people.
Does it
It's set to
say?
begin. Oh, April next year.
Yeah. Does it say though when, like, where the teams are based? Surely they know where the teams are based already.
Oh, they must do.
So, here we go. 6
are they?
city-based teams in the Northeast, the Rocky Mountains, California. So those are the 4 places.
But that doesn't live
3 places. So the Northeast. So we're looking at New
Northeast.
York,
There's a lot of places.
Boston. Yeah,
I mean,
that sort of
Illinois is
area. The
technically
lakes.
northeast.
I don't
So-
know. Yeah. Where's the Rockies? Where's the
The
Rocky
Rockies
Mountains?
is in the middle.
Is it in the
Colorado,
middle?
I
Is
think.
Is Colorado in the middle? We need to know more. Anyway, and
Well, I haven't-
California as well. So,
U.S. states. Let's try and work this out properly.
do you reckon there'll be 2 in each? So 2 in the Northeast, 2 in the Rockies, and 2 in California.
I reckon they could potentially give 2 to California.
Well, that's what I mean. Two
Well,
two
distribution of states is bizarre with what counts as the Northeast, the Midwest, the South, and the West. That's just bonkers.
clubs. Is it
I
all
really
weird?
don't. If that's accurate, that's just potty.
Northeast US. I'll try and get a picture up on the thing.
Colorado is like bam smack in the middle, slightly to the left.
That is a fairly. No, that makes sense. Although the South is strange.
There's a
What
bizarre
the hell?
split
There's a lot of
between-
things that are very far north being called the South.
But no, I'm just looking. There's a very weird line split between the West and the East, where there's an almost continuous line going from states I can't quite read the name of.
Wait, I'm gonna get I'm adding a new source. Hold on a minute, guys.
God, this is such. It's. We need to be so much better at this. This is so bad. Okay, yeah. So on the one hand, there's this nearly straight line split between the West and the East, with North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas on one side, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana on the other.
So where is the Rockies? Which region is the Rockies?
I'm sure it's kind of central-ish.
So you're thinking Colorado? That's the West, is
That's
it?
where, well, it's technically central-ish. I mean, I thought they were in Colorado. It's
I
fine.
think they're Colorado Rockies. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. That sounds
Oh.
right to me, anyway.
The
The
Rockies.
Rockies. See, this is the problem. Complete lack of knowledge. We're going to maps.
Yep.
We're zooming out. Okay.
Canada. That's not helpful.
Wyoming.
Was I close?
So it's in Wyoming.
Where's Wyoming?
Oh, it's north of Colorado. Aspen's in Colorado. That's why we might have thought about it.
I
And then
don't know.
Utah. So it's Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, and Idaho.
Oh, okay.
That seems to
Um,
be. But Wyoming appears to be the.
So the league is then basically northeast, as a strange selection as that is. No, don't do that. Dear, this is not going
So
well.
we've got Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New York, Maine, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland. So we're looking at Boston and New York. And Maine, maybe they must have that. I bet they have They must have an over the border one. So there'll be a Maine or a Vermont or.
I will say there is a Canadian rugby team called the Rockies, I think. But I just find this is to me, it's such a bizarre split between where they're playing 6 teams. I mean, I kind of get that you've got to start small and build something big, but the way they're doing it with, northeast, complete other side of the country to California, wherever the team is, and so it could be quite an interesting dynamic between not just
I think
moving the teams about, but
well, they'll be flying, but I think most professional players are used to, in America at least, traveling a lot because, I mean, the baseball team, they play quite a few games a week, don't they? Baseball teams?
maybe. But there are already. Let's see if I can get the exact names up, or potentially make a fool of myself.
We should really talk about this once we've done a little bit of.
No, it's people know we're amateurs. They'll be fine with all this. Because there are at least two teams in the in California, because there's one.
It really confuses me because
Golden Gate.
it's very clear when you look at the map of America that they. So when you look at
Oh, here
other
we go.
maps around the world,
Oh no! Wait, hang on. It's okay. This is
go on.
this is so weird. Okay, so this was 2014 to present. American and Midwest Rugby Premierships. Yeah, there were 5 teams from California and 2 from Colorado.
Okay, so there'll be 2 in Colorado then at least.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I know that there is a Saracens franchise in Seattle.
Oh yeah, no, we do know
Yeah.
that.
Can't see them on any list at the moment.
But
So,
they're not. Yeah.
however this competition is going to develop,
Well, you'd hope they'd include someone, the Seattle team, because why would you have such a huge? Because I've heard of them as well, and I'm sure they had. Didn't they have McGinty playing for them?
I've got no idea. I
They
just
had
know
quite
that
a few of the Eagles. Eagles were playing for them, so I imagine that would be a hub.
I'll tell you what, that's a good idea. You know what I can do? Let's find.
Well, McGinty's moved now, isn't he, to Ulster
No,
or Connacht?
Connacht, I think.
Connacht, yeah.
But if I go to the United States National Rugby Union team,
So I was before that. I was going to talk about how they've split the country up into very specific states, and you look at every other state in the world. They've all got bendy and circular lines that usually follow a river or a natural boundary, whereas the US is very clear. They're almost, some of them are just squares.
I think all but Hawaii have at least one straight line.
Yeah, they're all just like, and that's the border there.
So it's okay. Let's just have a quick look. So the
hell,
US
Oklahoma. There's like just a bit that kind of is a long stretch.
or the top of Texas,
Yeah.
but just they're all a bit peculiar. But okay, so
Sorry.
venue. No, I don't want venue. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I mean some of the teams that the USA team that played at the World Cup.
Yeah.
What you've got, you've got Saracens and Blues and Biarritz and got even London Welsh. Most of the teams I'm looking at, I mean,
Is this on our website?
some of them aren't even attached to a club. It just says USA Sevens. That's irregular. But
yeah.
there are a couple of players, quite a few in fact, that say Seattle Saracens, but then the rest of them are from the ones. Oh no. I mean, I suppose the game is still mostly amateur in the States, isn't it? Or is it?
I don't know.
I mean, San Francisco Golden Gate, Seattle Saracens, Glendale Raptors. None of
They get paid. They'll get paid.
But I mean, there's no information on this. In this link, there's no information about what's going on with the league because of these 6 teams across, the Northeast, the Midwest, and California. I mean, are all the players who currently, or are some of the players who currently play for the Eagles going to up sticks and move to these new teams, or
they're going to have to? I think that's
because
gonna
I'm
be
assuming
part of the deal because there'll be a big sugar daddy or someone with a lot of backing in those areas that will want the Eagles to play for them, so they're going to move.
I'm assuming that this league they're setting up, they're trying to set up as like the Premier League in their country, with a Premier League not as in football, but as in the highest peak of their rugby playing clubs or whatever. So I assume. So what does that mean for the other teams that are already supplying players to the Eagles?
Well, they're gonna receive money. I mean, they might become feeder clubs.
Those teams that already exist, which now will not be part of this tournament, or will they become part of the tournament when the tournament expands later on?
They might become part of it, but they might become, like Llanelli and.
Yeah.
In fact, is it Llanelli?
Is that the thing that I pronounce as Ellie? What's
Llanelli? Well, essentially, I think they're going to become the sub. They might become the feeder teams that feed into the Pro 12. So there's lots of Welsh regional clubs, and there's.
Okay.
You don't get it so much in the English league.
I kind of feel like they're going about it not the wrong way, but I just think
I'm hoping it has a lot of backing. That's all.
No. I just think it would make more sense if perhaps they viewed, just going by this picture of split into the various regions, if they either split the USA into either time zones or in this West, Midwest, South, Northeast thing, and treated each of those set regions in the way that Europe I suppose Europe is treated in that if you have, say, a certain number of teams on the west, a certain number of teams in the Midwest, a certain number of teams in the south, a certain number in the northeast, and have them as conferences, and then the best of them will play.
I think the problem with that, and if you look at it historically,
complicate things.
Yeah, if you look at that historically, is that if Wales had forced different parts of the country to contribute players, it wouldn't have worked. Because if you look at a map of Wales, every single player,
they're all in the south, aren't they?
They all come from the south. So,
with the exception of one of them.
No, with the exception of one sub team. It's not even a main team.
No, I suppose that's a fair point. I hadn't quite considered that, but I suppose just going more on the standpoint that there are so many, freakishly athletic sports players in the States as it is that I can't imagine it would be too difficult. I mean, you might start off getting lots of football rejects, but I'm sure there are a fair number of college rugby teams that.
There's a lot of college rugby teams. I've been hearing about quite a few.
Something bigger.
But it disappears, and apparently there's a big drinking problem as well, but it disappears. Anyway, I'm playing the outro music, Ed.
All right.
So this has been Ed and Charlie literally blathering about things that they just don't know about.
Jeez.
It's been Line Break Rugby. We're going to put our name on this. It's Line Break Rugby. If you've actually made it to the end of this, then you probably want to subscribe because it's only going to get better. I'm going to turn up the outro music a little bit. Ed, do you want to say something?
Please come back.
Don't judge us by this. And possibly we'll be better organised than this. Because this, we hadn't done a podcast in a while, so we decided to switch on and just start streaming. Someone is actually watching.
Tell them.
How are we supposed to know that you're broadcasting live? Jan 37. Well, the fact that we have responded to you means that we are. Oh, maybe he's making a joke because we're constantly researching things and it just sounds like we're completely amateur. I could play an ad right now to annoy you, Jan 37.
Don't you play the outro music up and cut off our speaking.
Alright, the outro music is up. Our speaking is still up. I don't know how to cut our speaking without cutting the outro. So we're just going to do this. I know how to cut the outro without cutting my speaking, but I don't know the other way around.
That's fine. We can just, quietly chat until it stops and you can kill the whole thing.
Oh, whoop, Jan 37. How you doing? It's good to chat. Jam. Subscribe, Jan, if you haven't already. You must have done because you wouldn't have found this live stream unless you were subscribed.
Tell all your friends about us.
Yeah. We'll try and discuss more intricate things and maybe a little bit in more detail. But
what needs to happen?
What's up?
They need to bring 15s back to the Olympics so someone can win the gold medal off USA.
Oh, that's true. Anyway.
Record since 1924.
This has been the Line Break Podcast and we're going to end it here. Say goodbye, Ed.
Goodbye, Ed.